one of the most profound themes in the Gene Keys is the 40th Gene Key of Divine Will. This goes from the shadow of exhaustion to the gift of resolution to the city of divine will. And this theme, which is really a way of just looking at our one consciousness and how we show up here in apparently separated and distinct forms, identifying with the ego, the mind, the physical body, whilst we're in reality animating it and not limited to it. At the shadow frequency, the reason it's called a shadow frequency is that we limit ourselves. We are stuck, so to speak. We stick ourselves into these lower frequencies where our consciousness is contracted by the boundary conditions that are apparent, in the physical universe. We have this human suit with this skin, and so everything inside is me and everything outside is you. And this dichotomy, this duality, doesn't cease to challenge us and to make us feel, separate and insignificant and fearful. And sometimes we turn the tables on that by basically, taking refuge in the opposite, which, of fear, not in terms of the opposite being love, because it's not really, but in terms of bravado, and aggressivity. So the fight-flight response of the autonomic nervous system, feeling the stress of the sympathetic mode, which can also freeze, right? And so basically what happens is that this apparently closed system, which doesn't really exist, is one which is just bound to lose energy, and hence exhaustion, because there is no possibility within that closed framework that we identify with. There is no possibility of having nourishment from a greater sense of what we truly are, a deeper sense of what we truly are, which is beyond the fear of death. And so the little will of the little ego, whilst it can be a really beautiful function when the little ego is in service to the great self, but when it's not, when it's just identified with a little ego, is going to exhaust itself. It's going to be constantly battling and swimming upstream, as the saying goes, And so there's a deep mismanagement of our energy, because there's a misconception of what our energy truly is. There's a separation, and that can show up at the mental level, at the emotional level, at the physical level, where we are just not fully integrated. We haven't relaxed. The secret of the 40th Gene Key is to relax, surrender, and it's basically connected to the first chakra, the root chakra, which is the least conscious of all our chakras, and the one that holds the seed of our existence here and of our creativity here. The whole lower regions of our being, with which we create. We create through the digestive system. We integrate, we absorb, we separate out what is not useful, if it's functioning well, and then we absorb and integrate and embody and transmute the nourishment, and the saying, you are what you eat, right? And then also in this areas where we procreate, at the biological level, make babies. And this is also the lower dantian, where we hold our center of gravity. It's a really profound place to come inhabit. And in order to inhabit this place, because this is also where we feel fear, which is why when we talk about, facing the fear and then having the guts, we didn't say we're having the ears or having the shoulders or, whatever. It's having the guts to push through the fear. So fear is okay. Fear is okay. You can breathe all the way down here, and in so doing, you're going to lift this really devastating state of exhaustion to one of resolve. And see how that can show up. How does that show up for you, for me, What am I resolved to do? I'm resolved to allow myself to sink and to surrender all the way to the depths of my being, and to face the fear of death, and to go through it, and to fully inhabit this extraordinary physical body without it entailing the kind of identification to it that was my, previous way of doing things. So the less we identify, the better, and then the less we identify, the more we're going to feel this, what it's called divine will. It's not some external divinity. It's not some external God. It's basically the substance, the very substance and quintessence of our being. The I am. And one of the ways you'll know that it's that you're there, so to speak. I mean, this is kind of a ridiculous thing to say, and it's true. Because the little ego is still there, wondering. So one of the ways you'll know that you're getting close is you'll feel the tenderness. You'll feel the tenderness, which happens to be the programming partner. Remember, it's like the two sides of the same coin in this Gene Keys system. You can look at the spectrum of consciousness, and there's 64 gene keys, like there are 64 hexagrams and 64 codons, and they're also paired. So divine will is paired with tenderness. How beautiful is that? And resolve is paired with equality, and another way to speak to equality is equanimity. In other words, allow, accept, and embrace, so to speak, be like water, embracing whatever the impurities are. They're going to get dissolved in the fluid, the medium of consciousness. Consciousness is going to surround them and traverse them and basically imbue whatever it is with this invincible force of being and of knowing and of doing. Know thyself. And we do what we are, right? The being precedes the doing. Or as in neuroscience terms, all knowing is doing, but the knowing comes first, and the knowing isn't it's not an intellectual knowing. It's a knowing all the way to the marrow, to the core of your being, to the root chakra. If I had only one gene key to take to a desert island, I think I would take this one. This one really invites us to breathe and to open and to surrender into the arms of the atoms that are already there and that are themselves held. The atoms as a metaphor, and yet truly are themselves held in the ether and the wordless and the formless. And it's right here, right now. It's not tomorrow, it's not tonight, it's always now. It's always now, and this is really, really good news. Because now is also here, you know. We have the eternal now, and we have the infinite here, and this is the heart. And when we follow the eternal now all the way down to the roots, then we have the foundation of the house, the home that we live in, our physical body, you know. That's it for now. Just take it in stride, and please, feel free to reach out, leave a message or a comment or request, a question, anything that comes through your heart. And also please remember to like the video, to share, to subscribe, hit the bell, and until next time.